you so much for having me. So I will say it's been an honor. I have been at the middle school for 9 years, but being able to shift my perspective from the past 8 years to this year has been amazing. Be able to kind of taking myself off the dance floor and into the balcony, and be able to see all the pieces of the building. It is an honor, and it truly is, like, I already knew it was a great place, but it has been confirmed this year. So data literacy, writing excellence, student belonging, and family partnership are the 4 goal areas that we are focused on for the school improvement plan. So goal number 1 focused on data literacy and academic growth. So it's great that we have the iReady and the MCAS and the attendance and the behavior, but what are we doing with it? It only means so much if we have action plans and goals surrounding it. In October into November, Sarah Kent, Katie Porter Roberts, and I sat with each grade. We paired up the ELA teachers with the social studies teachers and the math teachers with the science teachers. And we met and looked at the first iReady scores along with the MCAS scores from last year. Looking at, who were the high flyers and who were the ones who needed a little bit extra support. So we used Open Architects, which has been an absolute game changer. Having all the data in one space makes that data literacy piece that much easier of having, okay, this is all of our data. This is this student. This is this group of students. This is this grade. This is the school. And being able to really manipulate the data allows us to dive in deep to help that bottom 25%, but also lift those high flyers who need that extra stretch.
Can I just say that's great? I mean, that must be just a breath of fresh air.
It is.
You can actually look at one system and kind of dice and slice it however you need to. That's great. Didn't mean to interrupt, but just wanted to say that.
That's okay. So along with the data literacy and the initial staff data meetings, we sent out a survey to see how the staff took to the initial meeting. Was it great? Was it not so great? What are next steps? Do you feel like the next steps are clear? A lot of staff enjoyed it and found it productive. They were unsure of those next steps, which we were transparent with them. Like at those data meetings, we weren't sure exactly what those next steps would look like, but we did promise them that we would be working together to ensure that the next step would come, which leads me into targeted instruction for 5th and 6th grade. The reason why we started with 5th and 6th grade is because they already had that existing enrichment block, so we didn't have to shift anything with the schedule. 7th and 8th grade gets a little bit more convoluted, but that's our future plan. So targeted instruction, as I know you already heard, is a specific focus strategy designed to help individuals or groups with unique needs. So really taking that data from those initial meetings and seeing those specific skills of who needs what, and how are we going to meet those needs. And targeted instruction allowed us to do that. We were a little behind the elementary school. We started in trimester 2, so early December. So we're about a month in. This is a pilot, right? This is new for everybody. As Ms. Sanborn said, everybody is learning, everybody's kind of flexing a little bit. And so the first trimester, or the second trimester, is going to be 12 weeks. And then the third trimester, we're going to survey the teachers and see, was 12 weeks too long? Do you want it shorter? So trimester 3 might be 2 6-week periods or another 12-week, whatever they think is going to work best for the students. You can go to the next slide. So this sort of just shows the timeline of the 12 weeks.
And I think there's as many opinions as there are people.
Yes. Yes. 12-week sessions, and then we take the next iReady in February. So one of the reasons why we did 12 weeks the first time is that we weren't going to have another data set before that next trimester. So it was sort of a lift that we didn't have to do because the data wasn't going to change from what we had from the first iReady. So they take iReady again in February. We'll meet again to sort of map out trimester 3 and again, get everybody's opinions on how that will be most successful. can go to the next slide. This is just an example of what the groups look like for one of the grades. We focused on ELA. I know you see some math groups, just to get those students who really need that math support, but we did want to focus on ELA because the ELA MCAS is first. So I have Mrs. Hughes here. Are you good? Okay. She is one of our 5th grade teachers, and she teaches Stories of Swampscott, our town through the times, which is one of our TI groups. So I'll let her sort of speak on that. Great.
Thank you, Ms. Minter. So I do have Group 8, who is the highest achieving group, and it's been just a wonderful experience. These kids are finally getting one dedicated period in the day where they can truly be challenged, and honestly, they're thriving. So with the help of Ms. Kent and Ms. Porter-Roberts, they gave us kind of the groups, here's your groups, here are your skills, and then the teachers had the autonomy of how do you want to do this, which for me is just a thrill. So we decided to do that evolution of Swampscott from then till now. So with some donors from the town, actually, they were able to supply us with some books. We've dove into some library and news archives. Kids are listening to podcasts. So I'm kind of giving them the tools, but they're digging in and seeing what they can come up with. We even found this tool where they were like superimposing atlases from 1852 to today. It's crazy, but they're absolutely loving it. We've done some independent and collaborative writing pieces, both of which we're using kind of MCAS-esque rubrics, and the students are working on providing respectful yet critical feedback to one another, and then they use that feedback to then go back and revise their work. We've recently moved on to some more project-based learnings. So the kids are actually preparing some exhibits for a mini museum that we're holding tomorrow. If anyone's available, they're welcome to stop by, period 3. And then we'll culminate with a magazine that shares all of their learning. And this is where we're also going to have some community interactions. So students will be conducting some interviews with people from town. Mr. Kalishman has offered some support with that, so it'll be great to hear some of his perspective. But it's been great to see the kids making connections. They're really taking ownership of their learning, and it's just been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say, before I get into the next TI group, this would never, ever, ever, ever have been able to be done without Sarah Kent. And it was a heavy, heavy lift. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. So that was one of our 5th grade TI groups. The Rhetoric of Recess is actually 2 of our 6th grade TI groups working together collaboratively. So they're sort of doing they did their own things, and now they're coming together.
So for those of you who don't know, recess stops in 5th grade.
Yes.
So this is
That's
why
a bit-
6th grade is.
That is a big point before I start. So some of the 6th graders watched and read FDR's speech to Congress, his persuasive speech. They also the other one read a novel kind of surrounding that. So they learned about rhetoric and persuasion. Now they're taking what they learned and they're brainstorming ideas to craft an argument to persuade the administration, me, to have recess in 6th grade. So I actually went down to the library. Both groups were working collaboratively the other day. I sat with each table, worked with them, reminded them that you have to remember that I will have counter arguments, right? So thinking, like putting yourself in my shoes of what am I going to respond back to? So you sort of beat me to it. And I guess when they went back up to the classroom, the 2 teachers reported that they were so into it, being able to see the face to the person they're trying to persuade. I know Mr. Knowles went today, actually, went up there. So it's been great. I think overall TI allows the teachers to be creative without having the stress of like the tests and the quiz. They are making it much more project-based, which for the students and for the teachers is fun. And for me, I'm having fun. So it's been great overall. Next slide. So goal number 2, writing excellence. Overall, it's hard to really report a specific data point on this right now because we are going to measure it more with the MCAS, but we have been working, every single grade has been working hard to incorporate more of that writing. Starting with the 5th grade, we started the interreading program last year. It was new and it is still new. but really trying to implement more of the writing pieces of it. So if you see, you can, I'm not going to read everything to you, but I included student work from all 4 grades, all different forms of writing, creative writing, persuasive writing, writing based off of the Twilight Zone, based off of different novels. 7th grade, there's student work based on science and trying to determine where Dracula's gravestone should be based off of evidence, and really just taking all of that content and putting it into that writing form to expand their knowledge on different contents, different books, and different medias. Goal number 3, building student belonging. So this has been sort of intertwined more into our advisory, which is that first 35 minutes block of our day, which does allow kids to catch up on work, meet with teachers they need to, but I felt as though were a lot of students who needed more. So how do we get those students to want to get to school on time, A, and be more present in the morning and be more motivated. So we made our advisory committee and we started this past summer. So getting a group of teachers of brainstorming what's working, what's not working, how can we put more meaning into advisory to get the students to be here in the morning. You can go to the next slide. So we sent out a survey, and this is overall the effectiveness of the advisory block. We didn't get a ton of participants, but it did give us a good idea of where some people were feeling and what we needed to do. And in the next slide, it asked teachers sort of how they felt their classes were first thing in the morning and what we can do with that. So as you can see, the high energy was pretty high. So if you can go to the next slide, which leads us to open gym and outside time. So Mr. Knowles and I, once a month, we get each grade either outside, if we can. If it's too cold, we go into the gym. This is a nice way to start the day, get the energy out, but also it's a great incentive. You know, you gotta be doing the right thing, you gotta be here on time. It happens once a month, so if you miss it, you miss it. And the kids actually really like it. I wasn't sure if they were going to really take to it, but they ask about it. December was a wonky month, so we weren't able to do it in December, and kids noticed, and they were asking. So we just had 5th grades this Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday, and then we have 6th grade tomorrow, and then we will make sure 7th and 8th grade gets it as well. And then, of course, our mystery readers, which is such a highlight. We have 8th grade going to the 2nd grade, and we have our 7th grade going to preschool. Another great incentive for the students and giving those students that role model opportunity to be able to, you know, have confidence and go with the younger kids and be those role models that maybe, you know, they don't get to be when they're with their same-aged peers. So it's been really, I've gotten great feedback. We actually sent out not a survey, but kind of like an application to see who would want to do it. There was a ton of response, and some of the responses were so insightful and meaningful. It was really, really nice to read. We'll go to the next slide. So here is just a couple things. So the 7 C's is what the 7th grade uses for like an incentive program, sort of like our Big Blue Pride, just smaller scale. I know the 6th grade does it as well. Just remembering to, you know, have those qualities that we want to see every day from our students. We do Big Blue Pride. And then I don't think it would be linked here, but the Arctic Games I have a video for that. That was new this year. This is the specialists put together.
It's unbelievable.
So fun.
Yeah.
I mean, so fun. So before Thanksgiving, we have the volleyball tournament, but there was nothing the day before that winter break. So the specialists came together and they made the Arctic Games. So when the students had specials, they did a box tower challenge, they did the Whitney Houston challenge. Just
What was
getting.
that? Hold on, what's
know?
that?
Oh,
They have to hit the drum.
the drum.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh, that's very cool.
yeah, yeah. So they had a great time. I'll send the link. It's a fun
Please.
video. Yeah, yeah, it was fun. And then the world language teachers do a Thanksgiving video, and it's really cute. The 8th graders come together and in different languages write what they're thankful for, and it's cute. So just great things happening. You can go to the next slide. National Junior Honor Society, always doing amazing things for the community, student belonging. Shout out to Matt Moran, who is just a rock star with that. They actually got a shout out in the Greater Lynn Senior Services newsletter in December. So just, I mean, that's what we want. We want the community, good people inside and outside of the school building. We can go to the next slide. Some science, engineering, robotics, students building bridges. There was actually a bridge made out of popsicle sticks that held a cinder block, which was amazing. The makey-makeys on the computer engineering, I don't know how they work, but they're very fun. I was playing Pac-Man with lifesavers. It was really impressive. And then Mr. Gerasi doing the pumpkin drop in robotics. The kids had a great time doing that. He actually, in that picture, he is doing it off of a ladder, off of the stage. But he went on the roof and threw it off the roof when it was nice out. That day it was raining, but kids had a great time with that as well. Go to the next slide. And then strengthening family partnership. We had our student slush day. We had our curriculum nights. Mr. Knowles and I have had 2 coffees with the principals. We sent out a family survey already, which we will send again in the spring. You can go to the next slide. The nice thing about SmartPass and Open Architects, as we were talking about, is it really gives a snapshot of the student. And SmartPass is nice because it gives us all the data of when they're in class, when they're out of class, which classes are they missing the most, and being able to have that open communication with families of, this is what we're seeing in school, and letting that conversation happen both in the building and at home. We have Mr. Knowles created a spreadsheet with attendance, so those students that were sort of on for attendance, we have an agreement, so that if it gets to a certain point, we have the parent come in, we talk, and we make a game plan of what can the student do at home to get here on time, and what can we do at school to make it, again, that student belonging. It might be you might want to start your day in guidance, you might want to start your day in the main office. But having that agreement of we need to be in school and we need to be here on time, and making that as easy as we can on both ends. We make attendance calls homes, the family survey, and just whatever we can do to get the parents and the families to partner with us to get the student there on. To the next slide,
Wow.
and that's it.